Hola a todos, bienvenidos a mi canal. Y estamos de vuelta aquí en The Stanley Parable, juego que grabé hace muchísimo tiempo, una primera parte con algunos finales, y hoy vamos a continuar con algunos otros. Hay uno, por cierto, que es antes de salir cerrando esta puerta, ¿vale? Pero no sé, es un final demasiado corto, ¿no? Como para grabarlo aquí. Así que paso. Vale, un momentito. Porque... ahí está, vale. Ok. Siempre que abro este juego se reinicia la configuración, ¿vale? Así que... hay que volver a activar los subtítulos. Le tenía que volver a poner a mi resolución de pantalla y todo el rollo. Vamos a echarle cuenta, ¿vale? Vamos a hacer el final bueno, el que es todo haciéndole caso. Por aquí.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Bueno, está grabando el medieval, pero lo he tenido que parar porque llega... no sé por qué en todos los juegos encuentro una parte en la que es súper injusto. Y te matan todo el rato, ¿eh? Entonces pues lo he dejado ahí, de momento. Porque he parado, he vuelto a grabar, he parado, he vuelto a grabar, y al final me ha tocado hacer un juego. Y no.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Bueno, este es el icono del juego, ¿eh? El cuadro de en medio. Dicho esto, vamos a meter el código que nos han dicho y que se supone que no sabemos.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vamos aquí. Ahora cargará. Creo que cargaba ahora. Que ayer estuve jugando. Porque... bueno, quien juega al Dota sabrá que se pueden comprar paquetes de locutores, ¿no? Para el Dota. Y uno de ellos que salió hace poco es el del Stanley Parable. Y yo me lo compré casi cuando salió. Y ya hacía un tiempecillo que no jugaba al Dota y me entraba... y tenía ganas de escuchar al tío este hablar tonterías. Y como no quería jugar al Dota me puse a jugar a esto. Y hice algunos finales, entre ellos el bueno, que nunca lo había visto.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh, aquí laguea un poco porque hay muchas cosas.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Por ahí se va otro final, pero bueno, paso.
Lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Lel.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Obviamente este final que te está diciendo es que aquí, en el sitio este, lo que hacían era grabarte, siempre. En plan, yo qué sé, show de Truman, ¿no? Cada empleado estaba grabado siempre. Cosas raras. Como veis hay un huevo. Yo soy ese, el 427, ¿eh? Hay muchos que se repiten. Muchas, si os fijáis. Hay sitios que son iguales. Pero la mía es especial. Mi cuarto ese es especial. Bueno, porque no puedes saltar, pero te puedes agachar, ¿no? Muy raro. Ascensor.
This mind
Coño, te
control
la toma por culo el ascensor.
it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept
mía, ¿no?
it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Que de luz
It was
emite eso.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh,
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
qué guay. Salgo si me meto aquí. Ahorita no me fijé el otro día que si haces clic o pulsas la suena como un tecladito. ¿No ves? Este botón no lo puedo pulsar, bien. Pasa que no sé por qué se escucha un poco flojo el audio, pero bueno. No sé si en la grabación se escuchará igual.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Vamos a apagarlo. A tomar por culo. Si le damos a que sí, a on, el otro final, que no sé cuál es. Pero el bueno es este. Ah. Oh, no sé un carajo.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes.
Ah.
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command.
El cielo.
Freedom was mere moments away.
El cielo, pajaritos.
And yet,
Qué bonito todo.
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles
Madre mía, ¿no?
still lay unsolved.
Hombre, sé que tengo bajado algunas
Where had
cosillas, ¿no?
this
Pero...
code gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Qué humo más.
The mysteries did this strange building.
Más...
But as
claro.
sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
Da igual, si me
Or it was
pongo
not
para adelante, pero
knowledge
bueno.
or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Yupi, vamos a la libertad.
Stanley felt the cool breeze
cinemática.
upon his skin, the feeling of liberation,
Esto no lo muevo
the
yo, ¿eh?
immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh. Muy bien. Y ya está, eso ha sido uno de los finales. Ahora vamos a grabar otro más y ya está. Voy a cargar rápido. Vale, bien. ¿LOL? ¿LOL?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
¿Qué es esto? Esto, bueno, sí, estuve mirando el otro día. Que ocurre a veces. Se ve guapo. Nunca me había pasado.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor
¿Y
did
qué hay?
it advance the story in any way.
Bueno, pues vamos a ir a por este, al final de la whiteboard. La pizarra blanca. Oh, qué guay. Esto nunca me había pasado. Oh. Console bar. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Que tengo que abrir la consola o qué? Pate. Si cierro la puerta. Bueno, pues nada. Parece que va a tener buena pinta, pero bueno. Ah, vale, que este es... Vale. Ok, que este es un final. Que este es el final, básicamente. Que me quedo aquí y ya está. No, pero vamos a ir para otro lado. Pero esto es muy raro, ¿eh? O sea, ayer estuve viendo como un diagrama de flujo de las cosas que pueden pasar. Y ponía sala azul, algunas veces. Y nunca me había pasado. Pero, qué guay. Bueno, vamos aquí.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Vale, vamos a mirarlo.
Yes,
Oh,
truly
qué
a
guay.
room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No quiero ir para allá.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Vale. Si nos tiramos nos morimos, porque...
Stanley, I
Digo,
think
voy a
we
tirarme para
actually
ir para
got
allá.
off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Saltamos allá, para allá. Fue el final este de los...
Someone you
De los juegos, ¿no? Que jugamos al Portal y todo el rollo.
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oh, pregunta por ella.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
¿Quién está esperando? Oh,
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
ya cogí el teléfono yo solo cuando estuve jugando solo. Pero voy a desenchufarlo.
Stanley picked up the phone.
A la mierda.
A white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Sí.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe
Se ha parado
that.
eso ya.
How had I
De
not
girar.
noticed it
Se le ha ido la
sooner?
inercia.
You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe
vamos a ver un
this
vídeo.
helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
En fin, la primera vez que veo este final, ¿no? Nunca lo había visto en vídeo siquiera. ¿Qué pasa?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
No sé por qué no tenía subtítulos al principio.
Welcome back. You may have noticed
¿Qué coño es
that
esto?
this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
No tenía subtítulos, después han puesto los subtítulos en inglés. Anda, mira, volvemos para atrás. ¿Y ahora qué?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Bien. Me lo han vallado todo, para que no me tire. No mientas, si estás mintiendo ahora mismo, para. ¿Dónde vamos, por cierto? Ahora.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Me está haciendo que tire otra vez.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
¿Qué te den por culo?
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Oh, Dios, estoy rompiendo el espacio-tiempo haciendo esto. Ay, Dios. Otra vez. ¿No? Vaya. ¿Y si quiero ir para atrás? Dios, qué miedo, ¿no? Qué silencio. Oh.
It's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone? Left here like so much garbage. It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have
No,
to.
no apagues el juego.
I have to.
Madre mía, qué final más largo, tú. ¿Qué es esto, tío?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting...
Madre mía, qué final más jodidamente largo,
I'm
tú.
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Ay, Dios.
Behave exactly as Stanley would.
Además, se ha rayado. Tengo que ir por aquí por cojones ya, ¿no?
The story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Venga. Ahora está bien.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Esto está cerrado. Ese final no es el anterior, ¿eh? Aquí ha cambiado algo.
Coming to a staircase,
Efectivamente.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
No puedo ir abajo ahora. Ay, Dios. Uy, ahora es verde esto. ¿Qué cojones?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Hola. ¿Tengo que hablar yo? Night Shark 115.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. ¿Tengo que decirlo yo? ¿O estoy haciendo el gilipollas?
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far.
Vale, yo creo que no había que hacerlo, ¿eh?
You had better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you cow... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me?
Bueno.
The choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here.
El programador es español.
I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best.
Eso es uno de los finales más raros que he jugado, tú.
I'll wait for you to decide.
Y más largos también, ¿eh?
Thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Por Dios. O sea, es que me ha ocupado cuando... Yo qué sé, tío. 15 minutos, más. Ay, Dios. Bueno, pues aquí estamos. Ahora sí se nos ha abierto esto normal. O sea, la sala normal, vaya. Y bueno, de todas formas vamos a dejarlo ya por aquí. Si os gusta el vídeo, me gusta y hasta la próxima. Adiós.